us, ladies and gentlemen, at the Phantom Tollbooth Cornerstone 2008 press tent. Joining us this afternoon from Corn fame, Brian Head Welch, with your host, Brett McAlpin.
All right. Well, thanks, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Head, Brian.
Whatever, you pick.
All right. We'll go Head. Well, welcome. It's great to have you here. Welcome to Cornerstone Festival. Yeah, thanks. How did the connection to Cornerstone come up? How did you become aware of what all goes on here and all that?
Actually, I never heard of it. Just a few months ago, the Cornerstone people got in touch with us and asked me to come, and I think they wanted me to perform, but I'm not quite ready for that yet. So came to just give my story, get the story out there, what God did in my life. Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and? I mean, it sounded from the applause like a few of you might know part of that story, but yeah, could you just give us the basics of what the Lord's been doing in your life these last few years and share a bit of that?
Uprooting and just changing me and taking through the process, getting rid of the old guy, bringing out the new, and a lot of pain, a lot of joy, a lot of suffering, a lot of victories, a lot of struggles, a lot of, it's all good, but it's been a little rough. A lot of people have been telling me that they feel the Lord's doing a quick work in me. So a lot of ups and downs, mountains, valleys, and stuff. But it's really cool. It's so much better, man. I had everything out in the world, and just knowing God is just so much better than all that stuff.
So music, you said, they were hoping you'd perform, but that wasn't quite where you wanted it. Tell us about some of your musical plans that might be in the works still.
Yeah, we just, I started my label, Driven Music Group, with Greg Shannenberg and Mark Nawara, and putting out my album. There's some other bands on the label too. We're putting out my album September 9th, and actually the first single, Flesh, is available this Tuesday, the 8th. On iTunes, and we're just going to get the music out there, and then hopefully do a tour soon after that and see what's going on.
Well, out of the last few months when you've been out sharing your story, what are some of the opportunities that have really stood out to you where you've had a chance to tell people about what the Lord's been doing with your life and just sensed a real positive response to it? Have there been standout moments like that in these last few months that you really felt confirmation of what you were doing?
Yeah, just a lot of people are getting touched by the story, whether people in the world and Christians, because it's just real what God did. And when I went and did a book tour last summer, there was people like getting saved in the bookstores and stuff, just wandering in on accident. They're like, I don't know who you are or why I'm here, but how do you know God's real? And this one guy was like yelling at me and within 30 minutes he's like smiling, saying, I received Jesus. And so it's pretty cool. But just this and the Cornerstone Festival, this is huge, just to be able to spread the word, what he's done and what he's doing, and it's just it's an honor to be here.
Well, we do want to let folks in the audience ask questions of Head this afternoon. So we have a microphone back by the soundboard, and we would like for you
back here, ladies and gentlemen.
We would like for you to use that because this is being recorded to be posted online later. So please head on back there.
I got a question for you. What would you say to the youth of this generation?
A lot of things. Like I said, I felt like I was able to test drive everything out in the world, and it's not what everyone thinks is out there, man. Just all the success without God, just to me, it's nothing. And I want to encourage everybody to just press into God. That's what I'm all about.
When everything went down with you and Corn, how did Corn respond to your salvation and change?
It was really kind of trippy how I did it, because those guys could talk me into anything. So if I would have sat down and said, you know, I got to quit for God, you know, I'm going to follow God and stuff, they would, I don't know what would have happened. So I sent them an email and said, I know I've been with you for 12 years, but here's my email of resignation, and I got to leave, and there's nothing to talk about. And they thought I was just, you know, coming down off something at first. And then when I went to the press and told everybody that I quit, that's when it really sunk in and everything, and they tripped out. And I was just fresh off of a 2-year addiction to methamphetamine, so I did and said some stupid stuff, and you know, made me look a little stupid, made God look a little stupid, I think. But you know, what are you gonna do? You get filled with the Spirit, and you just want to just go do whatever. And but now the things have calmed down now, and we're real cool. I haven't talked to them much, but you know, from what they're saying in the press and stuff, it's all good. And I needed to get away, and I'm sure there's gonna be a time where I can see those guys again. But it's just right now, I'm just chilling, you know, doing my own thing.
First of all, I wanted to say thank you for coming forth and doing this book. We live in a small rural community about 35 miles west of Springfield, Missouri, and I'm a public librarian, and we have put your copies of your book in our libraries, and each copy has went out at least 50 times. And I want to tell you that you are impacting these young people's lives. A couple of them even got stolen, but you know what? I don't care. I hope they pass them around to all their friends, because your message is just so awesome, and God's message, He's speaking through you. And I personally, this touched me because my brother is a meth addict too, and he just recently, last month, got saved and baptized. And
wow.
So I just want to say thank you for being God's messenger and letting God speak through you, and I wanted to know how your daughter was as well.
Oh, right on. Thank you for that. She's great. I couldn't bring her though because she don't want to come. She, you know, this stuff is like, she's gonna be 10 years old. So this Monday, actually, her birthday's this Monday. She's gonna be 10 years old, and I'm gonna fly back and give her a party. But she want to be. The summer is for Grammy and Grandpa, so she's just chilling with them.
So I want to know, before you became a Christian, or actually before you even considered becoming a Christian or felt yourself being drawn to God, what was your impression of Christians at that time? And then in particular, did you have any positive experiences with Christians that maybe gave you second thought about what God might be about?
Before, I just thought Christians they didn't drink, cuss, or smoke, you know? I thought that's all it was. I didn't know Jesus was actually real. I thought it was a big, hopeful story, you know, but until God revealed Himself to me, I didn't know it was real. Even when I was going into the church high on methamphetamines, I was like, I'm gonna go hang out with the goody-goodies, so you know, maybe they'll rub off on me or something. But the pastor said that Jesus is alive and real, and that He talks like He talks to you too in certain ways. And I just went home and I was like, all right, either these people are totally nuts, or you know, I'm gonna find something and everything's gonna change right now in my life. So I did drugs and talked to Jesus, said take them away from me, and they fell away from me, and He started talking back to me. I just felt His presence and stuff, and it was so cool, man. It was better than any drugs I've ever done. Just the supernatural come opening up. I was like, now that's a high. But it was so cool. And afterwards, it was weird because the people that helped me come into church with them and stuff, I was telling them about these encounters I was having, and just the presence of God, and just feeling like I was like caught up to some other realm, and you know, it was so real. And they're the same ones that were helping me get saved were the ones saying, well, Brian, you know, you just got off of drugs, and it's not a magical feeling that you feel. It's just, you know, you clean your life up. And I was bummed out. I was like, well, am I going crazy because of methamphetamines? And you know, are these experiences real? But it was cool because God just, you know, He led me to Him, and you know, everybody is in the same spot in their spiritual walk, so it's all good. And a lot of Christians have encouraged me, you know, and I just want to thank all the Christians that encouraged me, because it was kind of a crazy life change, you know, and how it happened was just nuts, and so thank you.
Brian, I just wanted to offer a little bit more encouragement. I myself have rededicated myself to Christ about 4 years ago, and one of the last few secular bands I was listening to before I rededicated was Korn, along with Pantera and a couple of other big bands out there that are in the secular scene. And as an old fan of the guys, I just wanted to say it was really an amazing sight when I popped up Cornerstone Festival on my computer, and I see Brian Head Welch pop up on the screen. I'm going, these guys accepted Christ. That's too awesome. And I saw you on the Christian Broadcast Network a couple weeks ago. You had an interview on there with the 700 Club, and I just want to say, God bless you, man. And let's keep this going, man. Reach out to the rest of the guys in Korn, and we got Dan Spence coming in tomorrow, is what I hear, and Anthrax and all the old guys. Let's bring the family together, man. That's my whole thing with it. I just want to encourage you along with it and say, keep the faith, and just praise God for you, brother.
Right on, thanks. Actually, another guy in Korn got saved. He's not as gung-ho and loud about it as me, but he is like a radical. So just keep him in prayer, and 2 down, 3 to go.
Yeah, my question for you was, how is your relationship now with Jonathan Davis and the other members from Korn?
It's everything's cool now, but it's we don't talk to each other by my choice, because even if I didn't do that many drugs with Jonathan, just being around people from my past kind of reminds me of my old self. So I don't choose to be around them, and it's nothing against them. It's just where I got to be right now. But he's got nothing but good to say about me, lately, and I've got nothing but good to say about him. And there'll be a day when I can be around them, I'm sure, that I'll bump into them, and things will change. You never know what God's gonna do. So, but as of right now, everything's cool, but it's just a distant cool,
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to say, Korn was so much better when you were in it.
Thank you.
Hey Brian, I just wanted to say, as a missionary, I was really interested in your portion when you talked about your travels in India. And I just wanted to say if you had any plans to go back on the mission field, because I personally was really set free and opened up. My mind was opened up in other countries serving God, because that's when He immediately touches you to touch other people. So I just wanted to ask, do you have any plans in the future for any other travels and stuff? And if you have anything to say to missionaries, young missionaries who are going out there and changing the world.
Yeah, I just applaud missionaries, because it's you got to be filled with the heart of Christ to go and do that. I went out into India and I saw some crazy stuff. But wherever I tried to go out to Africa with a ministry, and the doors I got my tickets and everything, and the doors got shut. So I was like, all right, I guess I'm not supposed to do that. But I look forward to a day where the Lord opens up a door, and He's just, like I said, He's been working on me, my heart, and building me, and once I get to that level, I'm sure that He's going to use me to do a lot more stuff like that. But I just applaud all the missionaries who go out and do that. It's really cool.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Brian, I just want to congratulate you on your decision to allow God to use you. I got to say, I never listened to a Korn album, but our CD, I just dated myself, didn't I? But I just want to encourage you to just continue to listen to God. Allow the Holy Spirit to give you wisdom and discernment. I can only imagine that some of the pressure that you must be going through. A lot of people, once they find out, a guy comes from a secular band and becomes a Christian or whatever, all of a sudden they want to stick him up in front of the world, and all of a sudden he's supposed to know everything there is to know, say the right things. I just, would encourage you. I'll be praying for you that you will allow God to lead you in the direction that He wants to take you in His own time. And just if you have wisdom and discernment, I'm excited for what He's got in store for you.
Right on. Thank you very much. And it's a trip, man. This life is a trip, and I love it more than anything. But just keep walking. And I don't know it all, you know. I know Jesus, and I know that He saved me from killing myself. I mean, I try to explain it in my book of how much of a dark dungeon I was in, but words can't even express how deep in the gutter I was. And just being out of that gutter, I'm just so stoked, you know. I was blind, now I see. That's my story.
I read your book and it changed me, and I just have a question. What was the biggest struggle that you had like going through all that, and then what was your biggest victory? And I also want to know, like, have you helped anybody find Jesus, and like, or how many people have you helped?
You mean the struggle when I was quitting, or the struggle when I first became a Christian, or both? Okay, one of the struggles when I was leaving Corn was leaving Corn wasn't that much of a hard thing to do, because I was just done. I was done. I wasn't happy, and I wanted to change. So, but one of the struggles after I left Corn was I had to go through the meth, to stare meth in the face, you know, with the Lord in me, and throw it away and basically tell it, you don't got me no more. That was kind of a struggle, because I was there by myself. I used to hide my meth all over in my master closets, and I cleaned it all out. I thought it was gone, but I moved in a first aid kit of all places. I moved it, and a ball of meth fell out of it one day when I was home alone. It was like 2 months after I got saved, after I got baptized in Israel and stuff, and I just went, I go, oh Lord. And I heard these thoughts are like, no one will know. You're by yourself. And I just dropped it, and I walked out, and I got a tattoo. I could do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I started saying that, and I said, Lord, what do I do? What do I do? Oh God, you got to help me right now. And all of a sudden I had a thought. Go get your camera and film yourself throwing it away. And I was like, I guess God told me to do that. And I was like, all of a sudden I wasn't scared of it. I went back in the closet, and I just was pouring it out, and I filmed it. It's on my website, and I took a picture of it going in the toilet, and it was a big victory for me. And it was cool. It was so cool, because that drug is powerful, man, and to be able to just get through that test, because once you pass that test, you got authority over it. So it was cool to just have that authority over the drug. And a struggle in my Christian walk, I'd say, hearing God, man, because it's like I got saved at a church, and they were so like influential in my life, and then all of a sudden I was getting discouraged by them because they didn't believe in what God was doing in my life with the Holy Spirit and stuff, and so I was confused about, like, the Lord was telling me to leave so soon after I just got saved in that church, and I was like, all right, so what do I do now? And He's like, sell your house and get out of town, and I'm like, it was a struggle at first, because I knew He was telling me to do it, but it was like Abraham, pack up and go, and I'll tell you where you're going. So that's what I did, and I was like, well, get rid of my house for me, Lord, if this is you. And the house sold like right away, and the market crashed like a week afterwards, so I knew it was Him. And just hearing God, I lived in a Best Western for a few months. I went from a glorious big house, living in a little noisy Best Western, just going, God, show me what to do. But it's cool, because you just watch your life through circumstances happen, and it's cool to learn His voice. But it was a struggle to figure out what the heck He was saying in the beginning.
Hey, Ed, I used to be a really big Korn fan when I was younger, and still am. What I was wondering is, what do you think your album, the new album, is going to sound like? What kind of, are you still heavy, or just tell us about the new album?
Yeah, it's very heavy. When I got saved, I was so like touched by love and everything. I was doing light music and stuff. I wanted to, and then all of a sudden one day, it's like God smacked me and said, "Come on, be yourself. Be yourself." And so I started writing heavy music, and the album is very heavy. I've been talking about this album for 3 years, because He gave me the music 3 years ago, and doors kept opening and shutting, but finally, this year, I just finished the album last Tuesday, mastered it. It's at the CD plant getting duplicated and printed, and it's finally happening. It's a very heavy album, from front to back, you know, from beginning to end. It's just heavy, but it's got the heart of God in it. It's got it's just God, man. I'm telling you, I couldn't write music like this before. I could write guitar riffs, and then the Korn members would write their parts, and we would come up and somehow come up with some good tunes. But I could never do it on my own. But right when I got saved, I was like, I knew He wanted to use me for music, and I just prayed, you know, give me a voice, give me some songs, and it just went, just downloaded into me for like 30 or 40 days straight, and then it ended. So I knew it was Him, and it's just really deep stuff, man. And I know it's going to inspire a lot of people like my book did.
Hey, I just want to say thanks and everything, because you've given me and so many others so much hope, because I've got a lot of friends in the whole metal grunge scene, and they just despise Christians, and they just kind of think it's all that fluffy stuff, you know, and they don't actually come to see the guys with the mohawks slam into each other, and you know, and it's awesome. And so I just want to thank you for kind of adding fuel to my fire, big time.
Right on, man.
The next thing is, since you're so, I don't know, in the media world, popular and huge, everyone knows you. How's the rest of the band going to compare to you? Is it going to be like Brian Welch and the band, and like they're in the background and the lights only on you on the stage? And also, when's your first tour going to come around?
All I know is I really believe that I live by faith, and I see things happen, you know, circumstances happen. I watch God just put things together, and I know He's going to put together a band and a circumstance with this music that's just going to be His way. And I don't know what that way is, to tell you the truth, because I hired these guys to come in. Josh Freeze, like one of the best drummers out right now, and some Tony Levin, bass player, and another guitar player helped me do the rhythms and stuff. So I've been putting it together like that, and I've never done it like that before. I've never been in this situation, so I don't know how it's going to happen. The tour, I believe it's going to be next on the agenda. I can't say nothing about it because I can't, you know. And the album's coming out. That's all I can tell you. And pray for me that God shows me what to do. So I'm living by faith, man.
Yeah, I just want to say God bless you. And but my question is before you became a Christian, did you ever hear of Christian music, like Christian hardcore music or Christian metal music, or did you think of? Well, anyway, maybe just answer that question, I suppose. Like, because when I first became a Christian, the only type of Christian music I knew of, I became a Christian probably about 12, 15 years ago. I don't know, time kind of escapes me, but like when I was growing up, I was into punk music in the 80s, and into, like, you know, the death metal, European death metal music, and the punk music, and the hardcore music, and all that kind of stuff. And I became a Christian, and I was like, oh no, I can't listen to music anymore, because I thought the only type of Christian music was like church music, you know, the hymns and the books, and so I always kind of had a urge, because I liked the crunchy metal music and all that kind of stuff, but all the music that I knew of always glorified the things of the world, and my mind would start glorifying things that I used to do and all that. So, along with that little testimony of mine, the question, did you know of music like Christian? What did you know of Christian music before you became a Christian?
I didn't really know about Christian metal except POD, because they toured. They came out, and before they hit it big, it was what was that, Southtown, that one single they had. But I saw them on MTV before they came to tour with us in Europe, and I was like, I liked them. I didn't know they were Christian. They looked like thugs to me, you know. But so, and then I heard they were Christians, and they came out on tour, and I watched them. And I remember watching Sonny, because he's like looking up when he's singing. I'm like, what's he looking at? You know what? I didn't get it. I didn't get that Jesus is real, man. I really didn't. I thought it was just a party killing thing, you know, but I was sick of the party, so I needed that. But that's all I knew. And now that I'm just like now finding out about these bands, you know, even when I got saved, I just went into a shell, and I was like, all I wanted was worship music, because I was a damaged soul. I was damaged in a lot of ways, and I just wanted God. I needed healing, man. But in the last like year and a half, I've been coming out, and I just heard of Under Oath like a year and a half ago, and it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. It's cool. I mean, just look at what's going on here. It's cool, man. God loves metal. He loves tattoos. He loves everything, you know.
What other Christian bands do you like rock, heavy, like metal bands? Do you like Christian bands?
As I Lay Dying's cool. The heavy ones, and you know, the ones that are here, Demon Hunter. I like Under Oath. I like the heaviness and the melody. I really like melody, man. And if you can mix like the angst and just the chaos sound with the heart, you know, and it just, I don't know, I like that a lot.
Hey Brian, my name's Jeff. I'm like almost 42, so I'm not into the real heavy stuff, but I really believe that God's going to start a revival with you. I think it's coming, and I think it's through you, man. I really do. I feel it, because I just saw an article in the paper, in my hometown paper, just a couple weeks ago, saying that 57% of the people in evangelical churches no longer believe Jesus is the only way. We need revival, man. It starts with the youth. He's starting with you, man. I feel it. It's coming.
Right on, you know. I'll just
keep on keeping on, man.
No one can shut me up about the Lord, you know. There's no way. There's no way.
Well, hey, I want to ask one more question before we wrap things up here. You know, from your experiences of coming out of meth addiction and that lifestyle, what is the best way that someone who knows someone struggling with that can reach out to them and love them and help them to overcome in the way you did?
Oh man, main thing is prayer, I think, because it's just you're completely out of your mind when you're on the drugs. So I don't know, it's hard because people could tell you you know, reach out to you, but until you're ready. So I just say, just keep praying and loving, and just keep offering, you know, keep pouring out into them, and never give up. That's the key thing, never give up, you know, because miracles do happen. I'm a miracle.
Well, that's as good a way to wrap it up as I can think of. So, Brian Head Welch, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Head Welch will be your host and moderator, Brent McAlpin. Thanks so much for joining us today at the Phantom Tollbooth Cornerstone 2008 Press Tent.